Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here, and it is Sunday the 10th of February. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Got a snow update for you here. As always, the site to get free of charge by you watching the site, going back to the site and using the adverts as well. So thank you for doing that. So today's situation has been causing us problems, as you know, for many days. This is the radar picture from this morning. You see a mass of precipitation across the country at the moment, mainly affecting the area from central Scotland down through northwest England, through East Anglia and down into the western and southern parts of England, as well as Wales. And we've got this main area here, look, of more intense precipitation across Northern Ireland, Wales and southwest England. Now, if you look at the GFS, it gives you a bit of a panic, because this is the actual weather chart running from midday today to 6 o'clock this evening. And you can see that it's trying to put in here an area of moderate snow, extending really up from the southeast through the Midlands, through East Anglia too. And then also some snow here running up the Pennines and into the high ground of northern England and also across Scotland. Don't let panic set in though. We think this is overdone. We don't think it's going to be quite like this. Probably across high ground, particularly eastern facing high ground of parts of the eastern Welsh hills and also the Shropshire hills, yes, may get into moderate or even some heavy snow for a short time, but we think at low levels probably very little. And the chart that runs from 6 o'clock this evening through to midnight tonight also shows still the threat of snow through the Midlands, Wales and parts of South East England, with by then some heavier, more persistent snow across the hills of Scotland. And then running from midnight to 6 o'clock, still got that threat of snow across parts of Scotland, and still showing it through East Anglia, and then over the parts of high ground of the southwest and across Wales, and still into the Midlands as well. However, a big question mark over it, and the reason for it is that the area is just on a knife edge in terms of how cold it is. This is the 8:50 temperature chart for 6 o'clock this evening. You can see generally -1s to -2s here through that questionable snow zone. Yes, a little bit cooler towards the east, but really it's further north. It's kind of from there northwards that we're seeing the cooler air. And then by 6 o'clock in the morning, the low has drifted its way southwards. Yes, temperatures are falling off, -3s, -4s. Here's the -5 line running down here, with the cool air getting round. But again, it's still not desperately cold, and it still leaves that knife-edge situation for snow. And the surface pressure charts pick up on it too. This is the midday chart for today. Look, there's the centre of low pressure across Northern Ireland at that time. And by midday tomorrow it slips its way southwards and it's across northern parts of France. So we're seeing that sort of movement take place. And as it comes down, it drags in the cooler air from the east, although just notice that the source air itself isn't drastically cold. It's coming up from the Mediterranean, it's coming across Europe, where yes, the ground is cold, but it's not desperately cold, and then flowing into the British Isles. So this is what the GFS is predicting in terms of snow change for the 24 hours going up to midnight tonight. You can see its focus is definitely through this area here, through the Midlands, through Wales, through parts of southwest England, through parts of southeast England. But I think these totals here probably are over high ground. And I think the totals, even at low levels, are probably overdone a little bit. Across Scotland, significant snowfall there across the hills. Again, lower levels, very questionable. So this is our official forecast then of what we think will happen today in terms of snowfall. Very difficult one to produce, very dependent on altitude, how much snow you actually get. It's looking like through the Midlands into southeast England, we could see anywhere between, well, it's from nothing through to 4 centimetres, possibly more across high ground. Could be looking at 10 centimetres plus across high ground. Chance of that more likely late on this afternoon, through this evening and into the early part of tonight. I'm not going to rule out the possibility that it could cause some disruption. It may, but there's a big question mark over it at the moment. More snow across the Pennines, perhaps 2 to 4 centimetres across high ground, maybe a little bit more. And across Scotland, we're looking at between 10 to 15 centimetres, generally across high ground. But just to give you an idea of the percentages that we are thinking in terms of just at the moment, we were thinking about a 40% risk of 0 to 2 centimetres generally within this sort of area. We then thought that it could be that there's a 30% risk of catching perhaps 2 to 4 centimetres within that zone. We then thought a 10% risk of more than 4 centimetres within that zone, and we then thought a 20% risk of just seeing nothing at all. So you see the difficulty that we've got here in predicting how much snow there's going to be. I think if you were travelling today, what would you do? I think probably take care, be aware that high ground has got a threat of snow, and that things could change. So just if you've got to go across high ground and your journey's not urgent, probably best not to take it. But at low levels, looks as if probably it's not going to be a particularly significant event, although I do think it could still cause some problems to transport. Even if we do get a little bit, simply because the snow is wet, it's going to be very slippy as well. So some tricky conditions possible out there, particularly late on this afternoon and through this evening and overnight, but of course we'll keep you updated throughout the day. And as always, thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Remember, we're kept free of charge by the adverts you see around the screen. By you coming back, using the adverts, using the site, that's what keeps us free of charge. So thank you for watching and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.